We're very proud to, again, be on the leading edge of what's going on with the internet, and it's an ever-changing field. We've now been invaded by a new technology called deal sites. And deal sites now are basically capturing the attention of consumers, and consumers then are looking for the best deals. We've assembled three people to make this whole experience happen and be successful for you. Again, I've introduced myself. I think many of you know me. But you may not know of Jeff Richmond, a very interesting gentleman. He's not only the principal of a medical spa, but he's also president of West Coast Laser and has been a consultant advising folks on installing laser technology for the last 15 years. What that means to all of us is he's kind of been the bumblebee that's been in everybody's garden and has sized up what's working and what's not working. I thought it was important in talking to Jeff and to Yvette that we upfront talk about why would you even deal with a deal site? What are the benefits to you? Well, one, you can generate new revenue, actually new profit. That's what Jeff's going to tell us about. You can meet new patients that you would not normally meet and you would not have an opportunity to meet. You can build your email contact list so that you have another way of talking to people that are now qualified by their areas of interest. You can promote other services and products. You can create fans and friends through social media, and that's obviously a big thing right now with the algorithm now changing for the search engines, Google being the major search engine. You can gain visibility, and you can gain market share, and you control market share. But here's the hot one. There's opportunities to perform consultations, to discover patients' needs that they didn't know they had at the time they responded to a deal. So they walk into your limbo dance, and they come to a bigger party. You can upsell, you can bundle. Okay, we know that. What's working? What's not working? You know, what are the procedures you should be considering? Well, Jeff's going to tell us a little bit about this, but basically it breaks into two categories. Minor procedures and major procedures. Non-surgical, hair removal, other light source procedures, microdermabrasions with consultations. But notice, never surgical procedures. I've done some research, and I kind of gave you a heads up on it. Rice University did a study of all businesses that do deal sites, and some of this information doesn't seem to quite jive with what you've told me. I want you to tell me about this. Now, this first statistic, 21% plus of deal buyers never redeem the vouchers they've already paid for. How does that work in your practice?
It's funny, Greg. When we originally met, the first one that we ran was Groupon. When we originally met with a Groupon sales guy, he really used this as a sales strategy, saying, geez, even 20% of the ones that you sell won't be redeemed, so that will just be cash in the bank and you won't have to deliver the service. What they don't tell you is incrementally the dollar amount that people spend for, the more they tend to use it. So if I have a $5 voucher, it's possible that 20% don't use that. If I have a $100 or $130 voucher, probably the likelihood goes way up. What they also don't tell you is as the deal is about to expire, they actually email out to all the clients that have bought them a reminder telling them to use the deal. So, and it's something we can talk about later with planning, but as you think about these kinds of things, so towards the end
this
of
is like
your
deja
deal,
vu
you're going to
for
have a
me.
huge influx.
I remember earlier in the early days we were talking about such advanced technologies as newspaper advertising and radio advertising and television advertising and, whoa, yellow page advertising. You know, these numbers were always the same. The majority of the people said they made money. And a significant number of people said they lost money. And there were people that said they broke even and lost money, but they continued to do it because they really were doing relatively poor tracking, and they really didn't know what they were doing, and they didn't have a plan. That's my assessment. What is your comment to that, Jeff?
The 6.6, that last money, to me that just seems like poor planning. Either you offered a bad deal, you didn't plan the deal right, and the 17.9%, that's a really interesting statistic in that if you're to do a Groupon and your expectation is at worst that you break even, and truly you do, and you have a good way to account for breaking even, both in terms of time and service delivered and that kind of stuff, those 18%, if truly you break even, you still probably won, depending on what your goal is, because you had exposure to, potentially hundreds of thousands of people that ordinarily wouldn't have seen you. You had opportunities to upsell to people. You expanded your email list. So financially, if you only broke even, there may have been some other value in there as well. But obviously, if you can accomplish all of those things and generate new revenue, that would be preferred, of course.